Hello, here we are with Kenyatta Mitchell. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for joining me here with Jay's Wish organization. My name is Jelante Blakely. I am the CEO and Executive Director over Jay's Wish. And I'm just super excited about this interview that we are conducting. So Kenyatta, just tell us a little bit about yourself. Introduce yourself, for the people so the people can know who you are.
First and foremost, thank you for having me. I felt really honored. It was an honor to be able to speak on Jay's behalf. He he was not from Michigan City, Indiana, but some of us were very fortunate and blessed to meet him, to come in contact with him. So I'm really happy to represent for him and be a voice. So thanks for having me again.
No problem, of course, anytime. So tell us about yourself, Kenyatta, or Kenny, your nickname.
Well, I'm Kenyatta Mitchell. I go by Kenny for short. I graduated from Michigan City High School, class of 2015, went on to University of Kentucky and graduated in 2019 with a Bachelor of Arts in Communications. Then went back and kept going to pursue my master's of kinesiology and health promotion, and I just graduated this year, May of this year, 2021. Last year, during the pandemic, I was diagnosed with glioblastoma. Um, Still not in remission yet, but we are in the process. We're going through with the process of treatment and protocol for recovery.
Yeah.
So God is good all the time.
Amen. And all the time, God is good.
That's
Wow.
right. I was waiting on someone to say that.
All the time, but God is good. Yes. I personally know Kenyatta, if you don't know. Her and my brother were friends. So I've known Kenyatta for years. Her strength, her endurance, it encourages me to this day. Still, I'm always encouraged by you when I see you on Facebook, especially when I saw your post about you graduating
Mhm.
college, and it was just so encouraging. So I already know so many people look up to you because I mean I look up to you, and I'm 22. We're not too many years apart, but I look up to you like you're like an old role model.
I love you all as if you were my family and my siblings. So, yes,
Awesome. So, for those that don't know, could you sort of explain what glioblastoma is?
it's an aggressive type of brain cancer. So, the good part of glioblastoma, it typically happens to people in their 50s and 60s. I was diagnosed at a younger age in my 20s, and the good news is that I have a good strand, like a treatable strand. So, however, the prognosis looked,
Right.
if I were to be diagnosed with it again in my 50s or 60s, I would be able to have like to live. Yeah, I would be able to, I could still be treated for it.
Right.
Just one of the more aggressive brain cancers.
Right.
Mhm.
Wow. I didn't know that at all. So that's amazing that you were told that information and you guys figured that information out as far as
Mhm.
the age differences and how to tackle that and treatable strands. Like that's wow,
Mhm.
that's awesome. So you said it's an aggressive type. So would you say it's like super rare or not really?
I wouldn't say it's rare, but I know that a lot of times someone for me, a lot of times the tumor struggles like it's like a porcupine, if that makes sense. Like
Right.
when they get near stuff or when other spikes get near it, it starts to like not spread all over the head, but wherever the lesion is, it like spreads out.
Right.
So it'll get smaller, but then it'll go back to its regular
Yeah.
size. So yes,
All right.
it's
When you
really
said,
aggressive.
I'm
The
sorry.
most aggressive. Glioblastoma is the most aggressive.
Wow. So you said you were diagnosed in your 20s, right? So in your 20s, right?
Hmm.
What age exactly? If you don't mind sharing?
23. At
23,
the time, I was 23.
23. So
Yes.
what were like your initial, thoughts and emotions and feelings? Because 23 is still a young age. I'm 22, but I mean, even like when the smallest thing happened, if I like, do bad on a test, I'm like ready to call my dad, call my mom. I'm crying. But so like, what were your, initial thoughts, initial emotions when, you know,
In spirit of transparency, I would have never thought it was a brain tumor. Um, I was experiencing headaches. I was having seizures. Other people would know around me. Then I, my graduate position as a graduate assistant,
uh,
I did I was kind of like the building RA, so I like
yeah,
ran the whole building. Um, all the students when COVID started to spread even more, and it was happening at a faster rate,
mhm,
the president of University of Kentucky mandated that all the students move out, living on campus, move out,
yeah,
and that we could try to take classes from Zoom. So as a grad assistant, I didn't really I stayed, and then all the other students living on campus in my building moved out.
left.
So then I had a contract, and so I fulfilled my graduate term by doing inventory, like the building inventory,
Oh,
what's all in the office and things of that sort.
right.
Mhm.
So you were there by yourself and the only person in the whole building, or were there more people?
Um, it was some people who's who didn't necessarily have the means to move out.
Okay,
And if there was a student who needed assistance or guidance by their parents, if they could fill out a form or something of that sort, we would be able to make that accommodation.
right, right,
So we made accommodations to the residents, or students per se,
yeah,
um, to accommodate in a way,
yeah,
or allow them to stay longer because everybody else was moving out,
right.
and your parents wouldn't have been able to pick them up. And that the way that it was happening, it happened during spring break, so I think that worked
Uh,
out
you're
you know,
right. Some people were
it
already
happened during the spring
leaving.
break of 2020. So they had the parenting or necessary resources
Right.
to come home. Is like, we have a nice hall. So it does feel like an apartment to a certain extent. It's just on campus.
Yeah.
So their parents came with them. It got to a point where only one parent could move in with them, or like
Okay.
move out with them.
Right.
Yeah, they had to turn their keys in. I did a key inventory. It was like almost 700 people in my building. And so I did the key inventory for 700 people.
Wow. Wow.
And yeah, that like that was a headache in itself, literally. That was a headache
I bet I can imagine.
because I did it by myself, and um I was really still grateful. I was really grateful to have foregone that opportunity in a sense that I did it on my own.
Yeah.
I separated keys,
Yeah.
helped students move out. It was like round the clock too. And so there was desk coverage. Uh, my building operated on a 24-hour desk coverage.
Wow.
So like
Nonstop.
the desk, yes, nonstop. And then the desk did close at like 10 or midnight.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, COVID was crazy for the college kids.
Hmm.
I can still remember, getting that email saying, classes are, done and we're doing online and you moving out. I remember like it was yesterday. I was
Hmm.
I was actually kind of happy to go home
Yeah.
during the COVID time. I was excited to go home. I can't even, lie about that one.
Mhm. Yeah, that's very true. Unfortunately for the kids, though, I felt really bad for them because their communication skills, like, I think the bigger question is like, what does communication look like for kids who were impacted during COVID?
Yeah, and it's very, very noticeable too. I work with like in the summers, I work as an assistant director at a summer camp. Um,
Mhm.
and we didn't have summer camp the last year because of COVID. So it's been kind of amazing to sort of see the difference in the behavior with the kids because I've been doing it for 3 years. So I saw pre-COVID and I saw post-COVID, and the kids' social behavior, social skills, and interactions with like everyone else was completely different. Um,
Mhm.
so COVID did a lot, and it did a huge deal on a lot of people when it came to social skills and communicating and not
Mhm.
being, introverted.
Mhm. COVID-19 was definitely something serious.
Yeah.
And it's
So
definitely something that, sorry, excuse me,
no, you're
I don't take for granted not being affected by.
Mhm.
You know.
Yeah, so that was my next question. So, how have you navigated sort of this cancer diagnosis um, in the middle of a pandemic? Like, how?
I don't know how. Honestly, I thank God all the time because it happened when and how it was supposed to happen.
Yeah,
We previously were discussing how um, I knew my senior year, but I didn't know what it was, like it just felt like nobody was really listening to what I was saying. But they were seizures, like it's like when you put your head underwater and then like your ears just get blocked by water and you can't talk. That's how you know that that was a symptom of a seizure. And
wow,
so
wow,
then and that in combination with um headaches too.
right,
My grandma passed away in February of 2020, and I literally sat in the front pew and took Excedrin with my water during her funeral.
wow,
I don't want to rain on the parade, but that is a reflection of what was going on during COVID.
right,
Hmm.
wow. Again, so strong. It just shows how strong you are to be
Hmm.
able to move forward and still do everything that you've been doing, like your everyday routines,
Hmm.
not even really knowing what was happening, but you're just
Hmm.
like pushing forward. I gotta, take my Excedrin. I gotta take, the things that we usually just do, take an Advil, Tylenol, and just go on with our days. But it's like, wow, if we only knew like it was something bigger going on right there. So props to you, seriously.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Yeah.
I appreciate that. I was recently on the news because my grandpa was talking to one of the journalists there on my graduation day, and he had asked, how was it, or like, how did you get through it? And I said it was just motivation for me to finish what I started and get the job done.
Yeah.
And so I felt like when I had to come home in April of 2020.
Okay.
I was very emotional because we have another extra bedroom, and my mom wanted me to like clean that bedroom out to make space. And so
Okay.
I was like, looking through my notebooks and all the notes I had about. I was like, I ripped out a page. I was like, I should save it, because
Mhm.
I might learn something. I don't
Right.
know anything, but
Right.
um, yeah, it was one of those. And it just made me sad because I just felt like, wow, from freshman to senior year, from my perspective, there was still so much to learn.
Right. Of course.
So yeah, it was still so much to learn. And I was like, I'm going to need a job. So I should go to grad school and go ahead and get in the sport industry. Um, Prior to actually knowing, um, I was a little bit more on it. Like I thought on my feet quickly. And so, yeah, I don't want to say outspoken, like I didn't fit that kind of stereotype, the angry Black woman stereotype.
Right.
Um, but I was able to see see it from all aspects.
All perspectives.
Hmm.
That's important too. That's important. That's important in general. That's an important life lesson.
Everything is important. That's right.
Wow. All right, so I want you to tell me about this prom date. Tell me about this support system, and what happened with your school and your prom date and everybody else. I want to hear about that.
Have you ever taken like a Black college tour?
I have not.
Well, James Piggy,
Sadly, I have not.
he is the founder of like the Black college tour. So, the Northwest Indiana kids from Northwest Indiana had the opportunity to look at other Black colleges, historically Black colleges, through looking at a list.
Mhm.
The year I went to Grambling State. I went to Xavier of Louisiana. I went to Kentucky State. I attended, there was another school in Tennessee, um, and then Virginia Union.
Okay.
So I had the opportunity to go like through the East Coast.
Okay.
So that was like a fun trip for me. I went with my best friends, and
Yeah,
so I mean it was nice to go and see everyone. I think your sister actually joined us too.
I think so. I
Uh,
think so. My older sister.
And somebody
Mhm.
that we had also known prior to going on the trip. So we made a lot of friends.
Right.
And also, I don't know how well you know Aaliyah Stewart, but she's from Gary, Indiana, and
Right.
she's building her own youth center.
Wow.
Non, she has her own nonprofit organization, and she's building a youth center.
Wow. That's amazing.
hmm
That's
So
amazing.
I didn't even know she was, had her own nonprofit. Again, this was in 2014.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
I want to say 2014, don't quote me,
Right.
but it was 2014.
You have your own nonprofit as well.
hmm
Tell us about that.
Civil Visionaries.
Yes, yes. Civil Visionaries.
Oh, that's a handful. So with one thing about nonprofits is the task of filing fees and websites and
Yes, ma'am.
contacting the IRS because
Yes,
you're
ma'am.
gonna wait for 2 hours, you're on hold for 2 hours.
Oh, I
Um,
know a little bit about that.
so I participated my senior year in the entrepreneurial showcase. Um, and so I was nominated by one of the faculty from the University of Kentucky. Um, and so I was doing research about how coalitions formed in Mississippi during the civil rights movement era. And so I was presenting my research, and a lot of the faculty reached out. Um, Somebody from one of the departments reached out, and I was totally interested because I don't think there's enough validation or culture of acceptance for African American history. A
Right.
lot of us were stripped from that type of information. A lot of us have sections in the classroom where we talk about George Washington Carver inventing peanuts,
Mhm.
but that's pretty much all
Yep.
that is discussed, right? And so I,
Yes.
I just feel like George Washington did not invent peanuts. That's not what really happened, but we'll take it. We won't take it, but we will. That's what's, if that reflects what's happening, then that's what it is.
Right.
And so
So how can the people support Civil Visionaries? Are you on Facebook? Are you on
you
Instagram? Or
can follow us on Instagram, yeah, and donate. We accept donations too.
all
So
right. So if you're watching, um, follow Civil Visionaries on Instagram. Um,
mm-hmm.
Civil Visionaries, CIVIL Visionaries. So yeah,
Visionaries. VISIONARIES.
yes.
Yes, visionaries.
So if you didn't get that, make sure you rewind like 5 seconds and make sure you get the right tag so you can follow them. Awesome. Awesome. Makes sense. All right. So yes, let's get back. I got sidetracked a little bit. I guess my next question was, are there still currently any like huge obstacles that you had to sort of face um, during this journey of yours? Anything you had to like huge hurdles you had to jump over, hurdles you're still jumping over, um,
Hmm.
things like that.
Um, I feel like an obstacle is the responsibility of having to deal with a nonprofit. Um, we don't generate a lot of revenue. So if someone is interested in starting their own organization, it has to be a root of passion.
Mhm.
You should be passionate about what you're doing.
Right.
For an example, if somebody lost a sibling, similar to your situation, Jay's Wish Foundation should start to upkeep your legacy.
Right.
Um,
For sure.
and so it does take a lot of responsibility. Um, and we don't want to lose sight of the mission for an organization. Every once in a while, you pay
Mm.
a filing fee
Right.
twice a year, and
Yeah.
the obstacle is losing the validation of, hey, she has her own organization. She's eligible for tax exempt status. So yeah,
Yeah.
that is one of the obstacles.
Yeah. Are there any
But I,
health obstacles you've like been facing? Anything out of the ordinary? Like what are
mhm.
your sort of symptoms right now? Um, tell us about that a little bit.
Thank you for asking. I appreciate that. Life is working for me at this point. Just with brain cancer, the right side of my brain controls my left side. So from time to time, depending on what's going on with me, I write with my left hand. So I might limp from time to time, or the way my mom figured out that something wasn't right is that my left foot started dragging when we were like moving out and I was leaving out of my room.
Okay.
Um, as a result of radiation, I did radiation 2 times, and that's not a problem. And so with radiation, it had looked like I was having like my brain, this imaging in the brain indicated that it looked like a patient who had just had a stroke.
Mm,
So,
mm,
but I'm making it, I'm okay.
yeah.
Still deal with the side effects of brain cancer, but
Yeah.
one foot in front of the other.
Yeah. One foot. That's all we can do. Just
Yeah,
keep going, one step at a time.
thank you. Yes, you
Yeah.
are right.
Yeah. So, how's your sort of relationship with God during this time, during this process? How do you see God working in your life right now, if you see Him or anything like that?
Um, Jay in middle school was my closest friend. Like, we rode the bus together. We had the same bus route, and it really was a blessing to have come across that kind of person. A lot of people, he didn't have a lot of friends, but neither did I. I had one best friend. In middle school, a lot of girls trying to find themselves and figure
Right.
out who they really are.
Right.
I knew me a little bit, okay? So friends, um, we were teenagers, like we were just turning 13 at that time. And
Mhm.
so we would be able to, we had the same bus route. And so in the beginning of the school year, I didn't really notice him.
Mhm.
Um, but then I don't even remember how we met. No one knew. Michigan City is pretty small enough for us all to like know of someone like, oh,
Right.
that's so
Of
and
course.
so's relative.
Know of people.
Yeah. And so Jay was from Maryville, I want to say. And then something happened with the bus driver where you had to have a seating partner
Mhm.
or something of that sort. And he had asked if he could sit next to me. And
Mhm.
I was just like, okay, yeah. And so he said something, I can't remember what he said, but I feel like me and Jay instantly clicked from a sense of like we can go on and talk for hours until he didn't want to talk anymore because I am a girl. And so I don't gossip that much, but girls talk about nothing. That's the fun thing about girls. We don't talk about anything. We talk about the smallest things. And so I was the bus stop at where I lived was the first stop. And like that would make my day.
Yeah.
Like, just like that recognition and
Yeah, for sure.
feeling like you belonged, even though like you only had one friend.
Uh-huh.
That was like it was a very special thing.
That's awesome.
We laughed a lot. He said, "You need to get your hair done." I never will forget when he told me I needed to get my hair done. I'm just
That,
like,
that that sounds like something my brother would say.
and you need a haircut. And I'm just like, you don't say that.
I'm gonna apologize on his behalf.
Oh no, it's okay. Right for saying that. Middle school was middle school,
Right. Yeah, yeah.
but he didn't have a filter. And I'm just like, wait a minute, what? You do for a haircut too. So yeah. But yeah, we really did have a good friendship.
Yeah.
And
That's
so oh sorry, go ahead.
no, I was just saying that's great.
Okay. What's next?
You're funny, Kenyatta.
Hmm.
Um,
I have a poor recollection.
no, it's okay. It's okay. I guess my question is, since you're talking about Jay, little Jay right now, I guess I kind of just can just ask this right now. Like if you just happen to, if you could have like see him right now, what would you say to him? What would you say to your old middle school bus?
I would have given him a big hug. I really took his death hard. Um, because he passed away during my senior year of high school, and when I got on Facebook, and this is why I don't get on Facebook a lot. When I got on Facebook, I learned of his death through Facebook, and so I just got up, like the room just started spinning. I was in a
Yeah.
state of shock, and I was just like, I have to go.
Can I tell you something?
Tell me.
I found out he passed away from Facebook as well. That was my brother.
Wow.
I found out on Facebook as well. So it was my freshman year of high school, and we were driving. Some church members picked us up from school early. No one, we really didn't know what was happening. Kind of
Right.
knew, not really knew. No one was really, telling us what was going on.
Mm-hmm.
So I was just in the car with a whole bunch of people from church. All my other siblings was in a different car,
Uh-huh.
and they started passing around a phone, trying to hide it from me. And like I was, I wasn't stupid. I was looking, trying to look at the phone,
Right. Me too.
and I saw the picture of him. I saw the picture of him with his hand up his mouth.
Transitioning.
I
Mm-hmm.
saw the picture of him on Facebook with all the times and everything. So we both found out on Facebook.
Yes.
We both found it on Facebook.
Yeah.
Facebook is something. It's good for communication, but it's a lot of stuff that people be catching off guard.
100%. That was unexpected. No one seen that coming.
Yeah.
I was annoying actually too. I take full responsibility for the fact that I was annoying. In middle school, a friend of mine had said that Jay had cancer. Now, for a seventh grader at this time,
Mhm.
everything scared me.
Yeah.
So I was just like, where's he at? Like, is he at St. Anthony's? And there's like, no, he's at a children's hospital. And so I called the children's hospital and I, was very polite.
Wow.
And I was just like, hi, can you transfer me to Javon Blakely's room? And they was like, oh, sure. Yeah, we love him. We love him. And so then he answered and he answered. And I was like, he was just in a state of shock that I found him. Because once you call me, I'll find you. I know where you are. I know how to get to you.
Oh, that is so
Yes,
funny. I
yes.
did not know that.
I mean, it sounded like they were like, his mom or another family member in the room too.
Right.
But I was like, Jay, what's going on? Tell me what's going on here. Like, I got the news. I was crying all day. I couldn't eat. I couldn't sleep. Like, dramatic.
Uh-huh.
Okay. And so I'm like, I couldn't eat. I couldn't sleep. I was
Oh,
sad. What's going on? And so we talked on the phone for a long time. And it made me feel much, much, much better. Like, when are you coming home? Like, and so
mhm.
yeah, he was home for like what, about some time. And so then I would call him because he got a new phone. That's why I couldn't find him. I'm just like, where is he at? Like, I'm about to call the hospital. And
Oh,
so
wow.
he got a new phone, and we went to high school, because
Mhm,
I was in seventh grade, but by this time we were in the ninth grade.
mhm.
And so I would call him and FaceTime him,
Yeah,
and um yeah, I would FaceTime him. We would see each other.
that's that's
I
a great story. I didn't know that about you calling the hospital. That's funny. That's cute though.
Consistency is my strength. I
Oh.
got that young man's nerve. Look, I'm not even gonna say sorry because I'm that friend.
Shouldn't. You
You know,
shouldn't.
I'm so worried about him. And we were in the seventh grade.
Right.
Who who knew what cancer was? What was cancer to a seventh grader?
Right.
So,
That consistency means the world to anybody, especially
mm-hmm,
someone, um, going through cancer, consistency is
100%.
important, especially
Yeah.
having people in your corner. So I bet that meant the absolute world.
Hmm. It
That's
was
amazing.
difficult. It was difficult.
Mhm.
And I can't imagine how he felt because he was still so young,
Mhm.
going through a rare cancer.
Right.
What was this? Like, I was 13, I'm 25 now, 12 years ago. Like, how did innovative technology in the medical field look like 12 years ago? Nobody really knew what was going on or what they were doing. So,
Wow.
that
Well, thank you for being a good friend.
was heavy.
I guess we can end on this last question here. My last question is, what advice do you have for any like young, inspired young people in like Michigan City or all over the world? If you could just like give them some wisdom, as you have your degree, you have your master's degree, you've been through college. What can you give to someone that's listening out there that maybe needs a little help, a little advice with their journey?
I would say keep going. What drives you? Prayer goes a long way. Keep going. Make room for yourself. Get out of your own way.
Hmm.
Um, I
Yeah.
hate to brag, but uh, yes, I am a scholar. Um,
That's
Humbly bragging. I'm a
right.
scholar. So
Right.
yes, so it's one of those things where it's just like get it done. Do what you would want for you. So I don't really, I have advice, but I feel like keep going.
Yeah.
Just keep going till you stop, drop, and roll.
Right.
No
Well,
matter what, yeah. And be nice to people. Like leave an impression. Have such a good impression on someone that when it's something is brought to them and they think of you,
mhm,
you're establishing a network of people like, hey, Kenyatta, I saw this opportunity and thought about you.
right.
Here, I'll introduce you to whoever's running it. And so be kind.
Right.
Really, really no need to be mean. There were a lot of people or friends I did not have
Mhm,
because I just couldn't connect with their spirit.
right.
And so that's what I would tell them. Keep going, get up, go and do something for yourself. And that's pretty much all I have.
Wow. Thank you so much. I really appreciate you taking out the time to talk with us and talk to everyone that's gonna watch, everyone that's watching. You guys, you heard it here. Be kind, keep going, don't give up, no matter how hard it is. Keep going. get it done. Take care of
Yep.
take care of your business.
All faith, no fear.
All faith, no fear. I love that. No faith, no all faith, no fear.
Got it.
Fearless, fearless.
Thank you for having me. Thank you to Jay's Wish Foundation for being patient and being kind,
Of
which
course.
is why I'm so excited, to be having this conversation, um, and being so structured. Doing good. I
Thank you
appreciate
so much. I appreciate it. All right. Well, thank you again. Thank you everyone for watching this interview. Thank you so much for hearing Kenyatta's story, hearing about her journey. Again, Civil Visionaries is on Instagram, so make sure you search her, check her out, follow her, tune in to the great work she's doing with her nonprofit. Again, make sure you keep us in prayer, keep Kenyatta in prayer.
it.
Um,
Please. Yes, thank you.
we love prayer. We love prayer.
It goes a long way.
It goes a long way.
Mhm.
So yeah, thank you so much for watching, everyone.